Don't sell on Etsy, don't do it. A lot of the people who may tell you this are most of the time are people who failed at it, got suspended from it, or just didn't make enough sales for it to be worthwhile for them. Now, being kicked off, that is a big thing, and we will get into that. But before we get into it, I just had my 33rd birthday. I'm 33 now, plus 200,000 subscriber workshop. We gave away a MacBook and it was crazy. I also did an offer that I'm going to extend here just in case you guys missed out on that as well. So for $333, let me tell you what you will get. T-Shirt Mastermind, which is my video program that goes into all three business models of the actual apparel industry. That's business to business. Whenever you are brokering or doing some screen printing, how to get out to those cold leads, how to warm them up, and how to get some sales for your business to business printing. We also dive deeper into the direct to consumer space. We do some clothing brand stuff in there. I got my manufacturers in there. I also have my Etsy program in there as well, which is T-Shirt Seller Pro. This program alone has generated some of my 6 and 7 figure students like John and Anita, which you may have seen in interviews in the past. Now, alongside all of this, I'm also doing AMZ University, which is my personal homies program. This is my personal coach and mentor, and that's how I started into this game on YouTube, was posting all of my Amazon results. And you know, over the past month alone, I've done well over 6 figures in that side. So you will be learning from my own personal coach and mentor, Garrett Roselle. So I'm giving you guys his program as well. So for the single price, you're getting both programs. Also, I'm starting back up my subscription, my once a month calls. So if you do want to hop into that, both links will be below. Also, if you hop into the once a month subscription, you will get access to the previous coaching calls, which also includes World Envision's previous coaching call, Cassie Johnson, Ryan Hogue, Tuned In Tony, and so much more. So go ahead and check out both of those links. And if you stay to the end, I'll let you know of some reasons why you should sell on Etsy. Let's hop into today's video. It's no secret that I made a lot of money selling on Etsy. As you guys seen in my previous videos, I love to show receipts. There's been plenty of videos where I'm shipping out products or even doing print on demand with it. But it is a really big issue that I never even touched on, is the fact that why you should not sell on Etsy. So first and foremost is if you have a brand. If you have a clothing brand, majority of the times, Etsy is not a place for you. Etsy is a place that you want to sell whenever there is high search volume for your actual niche. So if you do have a brand and it is something in the bridal niche, or it's something like custom engraving or something along those lines where the search volume is really high and people are looking for these products, then it might be worthwhile for you. At the end of the day, if you are selling on Etsy though, you do want to point them back to your own storefront, because you do want to get that higher margin and eliminate those Etsy fees. So by doing so, what you want to do is whenever you ship your product to your customer, you may want to put in a card, leave a review, maybe put in your social media on there, or put your actual website in there as well. That way your customers will end up remembering your brand name and will shop with you directly. And also you can have like a slightly lower price on your own website instead of the actual marketplace itself. So that way you're not necessarily screwing up those fees too much, and you have a reason why the customer should shop with you directly. You may also want to send them a form where they can sign up for your own email newsletter directly on your own website. Because although there are ways to get the emails directly on Etsy and scrape all of those emails from your orders, it's honestly not the right thing to do. It is against the terms and the rules and whatnot. So you do want to be wary of that. You do want them to opt into your own email system, because at the end of the day, these aren't necessarily your customers. These are Etsy's customers, but we do want to convert them to be our own customer. Number 2, as I mentioned, fees. Fees can end up being really high. It can be anywhere from 6.5% all the way up to 15% with those offsite ads. Offsite ads do end up getting lowered, but it really works out, because if you have something that is with high search volume and you do want your product to already be listed on places like Bing and Google, Etsy automatically does that for you. And when that product pops up on Google or Bing and the person clicks on it and they are directed to Etsy's website, now the customer is already familiar with the website, so the trust is already there, and it's actually a little bit easier for them to convert. Now, I know this is a con, but I will say one thing. Most of the people who are complaining about Etsy's fees most likely have not ran advertising before, because it can't even get crazier than these fees alone. you could probably end up paying 20 to 30% just to have a customer convert on Facebook ads and so on. Now, you may see some real good success on other platforms like TikTok, but you do have to have a really good creative. You got to be targeting the right people and so on. But if you guys are unfamiliar with running ads, Etsy fees is not that bad in exchange for that type of traffic. So it is a starting point for those of you all who are unfamiliar with selling online. Number 3, another reason why you shouldn't sell on Etsy is because it is very, very, very competitive, especially in the market that we sell on, which is mostly t-shirts. It can feel like a race to the bottom at times, but if you dive in at the right time with certain products, you can really make a boatload of sales. However, you got to be very, very active for this to be able to happen for you. You got to really have either a VA designer or a really good designer that's really fast, or yourself who's really on top of it every single day. You have to be able to post listings all of the time. I know you see people with a few listings that do win and they do really good. However, I've always seen most success by us being able to post consistently, because we're always on to the next product, the next product, the next product. Because whenever you have a marketplace that's filled with, let's say, one particular niche has 1,000 products in there, and you only have one product in there, guess how many chances you have of being seen? 1 out of 1,000. So if you constantly post in that same niche and say now you have 10 products up there, you'll have a 10 out of 1,000 chance of being seen and so on. So you have to constantly post more and more. But you know what I'm saying? It's all about being consistent and working in volume. This is a volume game because it is a marketplace. You're competing with other sellers and it can get really, really competitive. However, I will tell you there are more customers than sellers on Etsy. Now, here's another reason why you shouldn't sell on Etsy. It's because you're afraid of getting shut down. You hear all of these horror stories on people getting shut down, and don't get me wrong, it is a horror story. I've heard of people getting shut down even if they posted and followed the guidelines, didn't post any copyright stuff, they still got shut down. Most of the time, this is because of trust and integrity and whatnot, because most of the time the platform don't really know it's you as a seller. You have to verify your identity. You have to send them an email. However, I do know of some people who went through with that and they still weren't able to get their account back. So you really have to go a whole gray area way to be able to get a new account, which is creating a new account with someone else's name. And it gets really tricky because then you got to pay the taxes and you got to use a different IP or use a solid VPN, different address, different business address, and so on. So there are ways to get back on, but it can be really tricky. I've also known of people who sold for a long time and they solely focused on Etsy sales as their main income, and they also ended up getting shut down. So you know what? This is a fact. This can happen. But I will say anything worthwhile does have risk, and this is one of them. I've been selling on this platform for quite some time now. I did have one account that had up to 9 infringements. It is not something that's intentional. You know, we sell a product that is not necessarily trademarked at the time, and then someone goes and trademarks it, and then they come back and try to send us one of those marks. However, it's really all about how often it happens, because you know, I know we have 9+ on a single account, but it wasn't a lot that was back to back. At one point we had like 3 trademark infringements back to back, but if we didn't get shut down, we got an email that gave us a warning if we got another one, then we will get shut down. However, that was like a time gap of like 2 years later, we didn't get any infringements, and then we got another one, we didn't get shut down. But I think it's because it was not back to back, and you know, the time gap in between those infringements, you know, was kind of fair. So that is something that you probably want to think about. One tool that I do know about that is on Everbee can help avoid these problems. It's called the Trademark Monitor, which is still in beta. It can monitor all of your listings and see which one is infringing a trademark. So that might be something that you also want to look into. All right, so now here's a few reasons why you should be selling on Etsy. But number 1 is volume. It's a crazy amount of traffic that comes to Etsy, and it's not as competitive as something like Amazon. Although it is competitive, it's really easy to use and it's really easy to get started. And whenever you do see your first few sales and your first little bit of success, it's really easy to get addicted to the process and get some confidence to keep on moving. Not even just on Etsy, but with e-com in general. It's easier to realize that, you know what, you do know what you are doing because you did see some sales, and now you have confidence in your online business. Another reason why you should sell on Etsy is because of trust. Most of the time, people have trouble shopping on your own direct website because the trust is not there. They've never heard of Jerry's branded Shopify store before because, this is something completely new. Etsy has spent millions and millions of dollars on marketing so that they become a trusted website. So most of the time when people come shop here, they know what the website is or they have a friend who have shopped on here before. So the trust is already there. They're backed up by Etsy whenever they shop with you. Instead of shopping directly on your website, they don't really know who that is. So, that trust factor is not there. So the conversion is not as high. It's easier to get a customer to convert really easily whenever the website is really trustable. Another reason why you should sell on Etsy is because it is really easy to automate because of the fact that traffic is already coming in. With other websites such as your own, you always have to constantly think about creating some type of content or creating some type of advertisement, do some type of marketing to get them to your own store so that they can shop. You have to keep on constantly doing the email marketing, text marketing, and so on. Now you have to build out a team for that. With Etsy, you can build a much smaller team to automate your whole storefront because of the fact that there's already traffic and you don't have to worry about marketing. You don't have to worry about creating content. You don't have to worry about running ads. You can run some Etsy ads for some additional leverage, but you don't have to worry about Facebook and TikTok and so on. It does help. However, if you are doing those things, you should do it on your own website where it actually tracks those conversions for those advertising platforms. So that is something that you should think about, is the fact that you can automate your storefront a whole lot easier comparison to your own store. So if you enjoyed that video, feel free to comment, like, subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. My name is Rich. I've been selling on Etsy since 2014, done well over 7 figures, helped students reach 6 and 7 figures and so on. And once again, links down below if you wanna join the monthly coaching call or join one of my programs. The links to those are down below. And this is going to only be for like the next 20-25 people or so. We're going to figure it out. We're going to extend it for now. And I'll see you guys on the next one.